Just a robot.
Before I became a commentator, I wanted to be a reviewer, and I still do. But who's to say I can't be both? And what better movie to start off reviewing than the movie I hate the most? Now, when I say I hate this movie the most, that does not mean I think it was the worst movie ever made. There are plenty, and I mean plenty of worse movies. But Man of Steel is the movie that pissed me off the most. If you like it, that's fine. This is just my personal opinion. Man of Steel, a movie about Superman's life, starts from the very beginning, his birth. And Superman is the first natural-born baby on Krypton in years, because he's Kryptonian Jesus. Superman's dad, Jor-El, played by Russell Crowe,
And I'm Javert,
is talking to the Kryptonian Council.
Are you seriously suggesting that we evacuate the entire planet?
No. Everybody here is already dead.
But then Zod comes in out of nowhere and shoots up the place.
These lawmakers, with their endless debates, have led Krypton to ruin.
Help me save our race. The degenerative bloodlines that led us to this state.
And who will decide which bloodline survives, Zod? You?
Yeah. Why not? Look at this from Zod's perspective. He just killed the people who brought Krypton to its destruction. And he's trying to save as many people as he possibly can. So yeah, he is the good guy. What's your argument against him? That he killed a few people? Well, Superman later kills Zod because he almost kills a couple of people, and Zod just killed the Kryptonian Council because they brought the planet to its destruction. So yeah, how the fuck is Zod the bad guy? So Jor-El manages to get away from Zod and gets this skull thingy that apparently allows Kryptonian babies to be unnaturally born. No, it's never explained. And he puts it inside his son, right before he sends him to Earth. Zod and his men are captured and they're turned into dildos. No, I'm not making that up. They're sent to this ship that goes into the Phantom Zone right after Krypton gets destroyed by Lord Frieza.
Oh my! This is stupendous! Wow, what a great show!
Superman lands on Earth, and then we immediately skip to him being an adult. Aw, come on, I wanted to see the scene where he meets Will Smith.
Welcome to Earth.
Superman saves some people from a fire, he lands in the water, and then he has a flashback. At this point, I knew that the movie was written by Christopher Nolan. Which isn't really a bad thing, unless of course you really hate flashbacks, but it is very distracting. Superman is on a school bus with some other kids when it falls into a lake. He saves the bus full of kids, and we get to arguably the most controversial line in the entire movie.
We talked about this. Oh, Clark, you have to keep this side of yourself a secret.
What was I supposed to do? Just let him die?
Maybe.
When I first saw this in the movie theater, my reaction was, sick fucking father. Do you know how that would sound to an average teenager battling puberty? Son, how dare you save those kids' lives? For the people who like this movie, their argument to defend this scene usually goes like this.
It's his way of saying he doesn't know. And that's what's so great about it, because it mimics real life far more than previous Superman films. It shows that people don't always have the answers. All he knows is that he doesn't want his son to be discovered and hurt.
Okay, then why didn't he just say, I don't know? Honestly, that would have made this scene so much better. I can't believe that not a single actor said to Christopher Nolan or Zack Snyder, hey, this might come across as a little terrible to some people. Can we reword it slightly? Another argument I constantly hear is, that's what I would say to my kid. And this is usually said by people who just became parents. And when people just become parents, they have this feeling that their child is more special than any other child. And people also often put themselves in the shoes of the main characters. But let me give you a scenario. Let's say my son, Jar Jr., saved your kid, and I told him, son, maybe it would have been better if you let that kid die. Imagine how you would feel if someone said that. Also, how is Clark supposed to grow up to be Superman if he was raised like this? Superman is someone who always puts others first. but he's being raised to always play it safe. Now, some people would argue that he didn't know his son would grow up to be Superman. And I agree. If my son pulled a bus out of a lake, I wouldn't assume he would grow up to be anything special. I would assume he would grow up to be a dentist. The final argument I hear about this scene is that he was afraid that his son was going to be taken away by the military. Imagine how that would have actually played out. Oh, hi military, you want my son? He's right over there, turning your tanks inside out. Also, he showers his son with a crazy amount of praise.
You were sent here for a reason. When the world finds out what you can do, it's going to change everything. You're not just anyone, Clark. You're the answer to Are We Alone in the Universe. Stand proud in front of the human race.
So you're teaching your son that he's very important but should never ever challenge himself. My God, I think this is how the people from Antifa were raised.
We found you in this. This was in the chamber with you. I took it to a metallurgist at Kansas State. He said whatever it was made from didn't even exist on the periodic table.
You do know that we have used the elements that we do have on the periodic table to predict other elements that could possibly exist, right? But despite being taught that no one ever should find out who he is, after dealing with an angry customer, he completely destroys his truck. Risking people finding out who you are to save some kids? Bad. Risking people finding out who you are to get back at a guy? Completely okay. Superman goes to Antarctica to find an old Kryptonian ship. Lois Lane follows him and gets attacked by an evil toilet. Superman saves Lois Lane, and then just kind of leaves her. She gets back to Metropolis, but the Daily Planet won't publish her paper.
My editor won't print it, but if it happened to leak online...
But didn't you once describe my site as a creeping cancer of falsehoods?
Are you talking about BuzzFeed? Meanwhile, Superman is talking to the downloaded memories of his father, who explains to him that he has a magical skull inside his body, which allows the Kryptonian babies to be unnaturally born. He also gives Superman his iconic Superman outfit, without the red diaper. Superman starts testing out his powers, and then I realize that the editing in this movie is very wonky. There's a ton of shaky cam, and I mean more than Hunger Games, and there's probably more zooming in this movie than any other movie I have seen. Lois Lane talks to people who have been saved by Superman until she discovers who he really is. Despite the fact that the government can't find him, but one reporter can. But don't worry, the movie will distract you with another flashback.
Tired of safe. I just want to do something useful with my life.
So farming, feeding people, that's not useful.
Clearly, this is the parenting that made him want to grow up to be Superman. Then a tornado comes out of nowhere. They run to safety, but oh no! They left the dog in the car.
I'll get him.
No. Get your mom to the overpass.
You do know that Superman can get the dog without revealing his powers, right? So Superman is powerless to do anything, and he watches his father die right in front of him. Remember that earlier scene where he completely destroys a guy's truck just to get back at him? Yeah, that's worth risking people discovering who you are, but saving your dad? Nah. So Zod comes to Earth and he demands that they hand over Superman or he'll attack.
Kal-El, I say this. Surrender within 24 hours.
Superman goes to some random priest for help. Yeah, the scene is stupid. I think how it should have ended said it best.
He sounds serious, Clark.
Yeah, he does. If only there were someone I could turn to for guidance about this situation.
You mean like a random priest?
No, not a random priest. Someone who would actually know something about Zod specifically. Someone who actually knew him. Oh wait, my space dad!
Oh yeah, Zod is a complete monster. You have to stop him. He will kill every last thing on Earth.
Well, can you show me how? I have less than 24 hours to agree.
That's plenty of time. Here's what you need to do.
Sensors detect a small ship approaching.
What kind of ship?
It appears to be Jor-El's baby shuttle.
Wait! Why would he bring the Codex with him? He should have no idea what we're looking for. Phantom Drive! It's a trap!
Superman surrenders to the military and they bring in Lois Lane, Because she's Lois Lane. And Zod sends his top soldier, Fiora, so she can bring Superman to him.
General Zod would like this woman to accompany me.
Why? Why do you need Lois? There's absolutely no reason to. The only reason I can think of is because she's Lois Lane. Superman meets Zod for the first time, but his body can't handle the atmosphere very well.
What's happening to him?
He's rejecting our ship's atmospherics.
It's funny that he can breathe in space, but he can't breathe inside the ship's atmosphere. And before someone says, oh, the atmosphere has little pieces of kryptonite inside of it. Okay, so here's how kryptonite works. It's made up of radioactive pieces from Superman's home world. So unless the air is radioactive or something, I don't see how it could hurt Superman. So Zod tries to get Superman to join him by putting him in a virtual world which shows Earth covered in skulls. What? This is what you should say would happen if he didn't join you. Not if he did join you. This is literally the worst persuasion tactic ever. So Lois Lane uploads the memory of Superman's dad to the ship. Oh, that's why she was there, for plot convenience. And because of that, Superman's dad has complete control over the ship. With the help of Superman's dad and Lois Lane, Superman manages to escape and does a Jesus pose. Then he goes down to Earth and starts fighting the Kryptonians. And yes, the product placement here is crazy. I think Screen Junkie said it best.
When Lois uses her Nikon camera to photograph this Budweiser drinking alien, she'll discover the truth from his friend at the IHOP. But when Zod sends her a message on this Nokia phone, it's up to Superman to take him on with this U-Haul truck through this 7-Eleven, back to the IHOP, and inside this Sears.
Zod's ships start changing the gravity and atmosphere of the planet, and Superman and the military join forces to stop them. I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going. And Lois Lane says the absolute best line in the entire movie.
There's something wrong. It's not supposed to do this.
Well, what's it supposed to do?
It's supposed to go in all the way.
Yes, Enrique, that is exactly what she said.
So some random guy fixes the weapon. Lois Lane is seeming more useful by the minute. So Superman gets on Zod's ship and laser eyes a whole bunch of unborn Kryptonian babies. How the fuck is Zod not the good guy again? So it's just down to Superman and Zod, and they have, the coolest Dragon Ball Z fight I have ever seen in any movie ever. Superman gets Zod in a headlock, and Zod tries to kill a few people, even though it's very easy for them to get away, but they don't for some reason. And then Superman does the unthinkable. He kills Zod. Now, personally, my problem isn't that Superman killed Zod. My problem is that he's screaming about it. You just killed a whole bunch of unborn Kryptonian babies. You didn't scream then, so why are you screaming now? And even if you think Superman killing Zod was dramatic, it's literally forgotten about in the next scene. So here's why I hate this movie so much. If it was just a bad movie, I really wouldn't care. But there's so many good scenes. Talk about being so close yet so far away. This could have been such a great movie. But every time there's a good scene, there's immediately a bad scene. This movie has completely split the DC audience. I can see why people like it. And if you enjoy this movie, I hope you can understand why I don't like it. My eyes have seen the glory of the cleansing of YouTube. Debunking SJWs and feminazis too. We criticize reactionists in hopes they get the boot. Just to roll on marches on.